Hey, welcome back everyone. Thank you so much for stopping by. And today we will discuss the different type of waters out there on the market. Are they only hypes or are most of them good for you or healthy? We'll talk about the there's three different categories in health: modified water, which we'll talk about, and there is drinkable water. We'll talk about that in part 5 or 6 of the videos. I'm making more than 5 because I just can't fit all the videos all at once. Yeah, bear with me. Hopefully this is going to be very interesting for you. And at the end of all these 6 parts, I will probably do an extra video from my kitchen showing you different type of filters and what it's all about and how do they work and how do we proceed them to understand them properly. That said, without any delay, I want to cover, before moving on to different types of water. Many people have asked me, hey, it's time to go run outside. It's beautiful. If I have to run a marathon or if I run more than an hour, is it only water that I have to take? Right away, yes. If it's more than an hour, make sure that you add a pinch of salt in at least 1 liter of water for the little bit of salt that you're going to lose, which is not much. But those who really want to drink something because there's flavor in it and there's sugar, calories, or all that nice good stuff, and they want a different taste than just water, let's take 5 minutes just to explain that right away. Best type of drinking water for exercise. Water, has no calories, doesn't have any electrolytes, but you could add that with a pinch of salt and your cost is down to nothing. Sports drink. There are 3 different types. I'll talk in a minute about that. They may provide unwanted calories like sugar. It has a sweet taste. Well, obviously, sweet means damage to teeth, but if we go over that, it will provide electrolytes because usually there is salt in it and there is sugar. Fruit juices. Not all fruit juices are good to go forward with a long exercise. Sometimes it may cause a stomach upset depending on the fruit that you're using. Yeah, they are packed with sugar too. They are high in potassium, but that's not what you lose. It has electrolytes in it. I don't take that. Anyway, any fruit juices I don't take. Soft energy drinks, I don't even go there. They're high calories, carbohydrates, excess in calories. Yeah, so yeah, they do have that electrolyte, but some of these energy drinks may give you unwanted stimulating effect during a race or a long prolonged exercise or sport that you may be doing. So yeah, stick with the sports drink. Some of them are made for that, like the isotonic drink, which is one of my favorites. I use once in a while if I do exceed an hour, just to have a different taste. It's thirst quenching. It'll be absorbed the same water does. Ideal for endurance sport because yeah, it has that little electrolyte and has that little sugar in it. But you could get the same thing out of water. It's just because you want a different taste. Hypotonic, thirst quenching. This will get absorbed a lot faster than water. Ideal for recreational sports, which lasts more than an hour also. Not my best. I'd say isotonic is still the best one. And for a long day outside with the guys playing soccer for a few hours, you may go to hypertonic because you're running, then you're sitting down, getting replays, running again. This will give you or supply you with energy, slower and for a long time, for a long duration. But apart from that, no, isotonic would be probably the best one. So 3 types of categories: modified water, health water. Modified water we've seen for a hydrogen item, a hydrogen water that we talked about, and which was also supposedly healthy. That is still, yes, up to determine, but I think, I'm not against it. I'm not for it either till we see more studies on it. But it sure looks good, but it will take a while before they prove it. And drinkable water, which will probably be covered in video 5 or video 6, or part 5, part 6 of my videos on water. Why so many? It's like there's so many types of water. Apart from that, alkaline water, pH and all that, I will cover that in another water video. I think it's part 5. Yeah, part 5 should be part 5. But why is there so many? And this is just a few beside the 100 different types of water out there. Where does this all come from, from the past years? Well, basically, I just think like the marketing is trying to reinvent itself, because now we're seeing right through them with the pop and high sugar contents in some of the drinks, which is basically bad, makes you gain weight, and basically is bad for your health. So what they're trying to do is reinvent the water in making it healthy. But is it? Let's take a look. You be the judge. Sorry about that. Hit that mouse button too fast. Different types of water. Microwave water. Yeah, I'll cover that at least, because it's not like it's a new water out there, but people did ask me, hey Jean, if I heat up my tea or coffee or just warm up water in the microwave, is it bad? Well, remember that water molecule? Here it is again. What happens is it shoots tiny little waves into the liquid, but they're not like a big wave going into your cup and hitting everything at the same time. There's small little rays going back and forth, and that's why your tea may not taste the same, because sometimes you may get a cold spot and one is warm and whoops, it's hot on the other one. It's not completely all the same temperature, so the taste may not be the same. If you warm up your water long enough, like over a minute, yeah, you may get a complete hot cup of water, that you could put in a tea bag afterwards in it. Is it good? Microwave is about the same thing as UV, what we explained in the previous videos. It will hit that water molecule, but the rays may knock off an electron off that oxygen, making that water molecule reactive and oxidize. Yes, that's where everybody starts freaking out and saying, oh, that's it, it's cancer. You got a few molecules out of trillions that have oxidized and they're reactive, it becomes cancer right away. You see where this is getting? It's not the few little molecules that lose an electron that will make a big difference in making, the water that you drink. That's it, it's full cancer. You got full systems in place inside your body will take care of all this. So don't worry about it. It's just like, worry about if you're heating up a chicken for about 25 minutes in the microwave in a special pot. The water inside that chicken, yeah, a lot of it will be oxidized because it's there a lot longer, and the power on it is a lot higher either on that too. Yeah, there you go. So you just learned a little bit more about cancer again. Coconut water, new fad. Is it really good, as they say? Does it really hydrate you as much as tap water? If you take a look at coconut water, for 1 liter, has 45 calories, 11 grams of carbs, 11 grams of sugar, has those electrolytes and that potassium that they seem to concentrate on a lot, and saying it's got as much potassium as a small banana in 1 liter. Okay, does that really do anything? I looked at Marketplace, and we were lucky enough to see that episode where they were comparing coconut water with water, simple tap water, and they were doing some tests at a university in Ontario. I think it's Toronto University. I'm not sure which one it is. Anyways, they took one of the girls that are in Marketplace, made her run on a treadmill for an hour's time, and tested her blood before and tested her blood afterwards in hydration and in loss of electrolytes. Well, after an hour drinking coconut water, 2 or 3 days later, she came back and did the same test, and drinking just water, simple tap water, the hydration was the same thing. There was no change. Now I know what you're saying. How about the electrolytes? Okay, the electrolytes lost in 1 hour was like 0.1. It's not even bothered to mention it. It wasn't enough to say that you put a pinch of salt in your water to replace, the salt that you're losing. Probably you're just going to turn around and go eat a sandwich, and there's going to be enough salt to replace it 3-4 times afterwards. So, for electrolytes, it wasn't worth it for an hour on treadmill. And she was like almost in a hot room. It was really warm in that room. But what these companies seems to push is the potassium that you seem to need during your exercise, and they help you with your workout. But that's not true. Potassium is not what you sweat out. It's sodium, which is the electrolytes from the sodium. So potassium is like 0.001%. It's so low that it's not even worth mentioning. So it's not that will help you do your exercise or sweat. So to me, that's just false. All you need is really the electrolytes and simple ball of water with a pinch of salt will do the same thing, and it'll probably cost you a lot less, because if you look at coconut water versus tap water, what, $6 per liter, zero for water. And in some parts of the US or Europe, I remember hearing it was like $11 a liter. So that's pretty expensive for replacing water, which you don't have to. I always say if you go up to 2 liters and you need to drink 2 liters, add a quarter to a half a teaspoon of salt in your water, and it's going to replace what you need as electrolytes if you do need them. Okay, it's not going to be over the top. Hard water versus soft water. What is the difference? I often ask this in my conference, and not much people are able to answer me, but simple hard water, 85% of North America has hard water. And basically hard water is just because water has, roll itself against a rock, inside or in your well, as against the rock formations or what, and has picked up the magnesium and calcium of the rocks, which makes it hard water. What's the difference between soft water? Soft water, it rains, that water evaporates, that hard water evaporates, leaving the calcium and magnesium behind, and falls back down as soft water without the magnesium and calcium. Simple as that. So 85%. Hard water contains and it's still dissolved like calcium, and picking up the rocks, it picks up. Yeah, I have just said that. Hard water, it's not what you want in your house or your well, all depending on the quantity of hard water or the level of your hard water, because usually it could damage your appliances. I remember my mother and my parents, they in their house they had the well water for 30 years, and after a few years it started damaging the washing machine, the dishwasher. The filters were getting jammed or all calcinated, and they had to get themselves a salt system to remove some of the hard water. But it made that water soft, but at the same time it wasn't drinkable, and it's not suitable for drinking. So they needed another filter afterwards to take. And so it all depends on the filter that you want. You just take a filter to remove some of the salt, or do you take a very performant filter and remove all the salt and drink great water? It's up to you. The salt system is really there to reduce the amount of magnesium and calcium, and reduce and make your water soft. There's different kind of hard water, and there's even permanent hardness. That one's even worse, but it's not around very much. But Permanent hardness water requires, which is called calcium sulfate, requires chemical softeners. From that part afterwards is you use a salt system, and after that you better use a filter to filter all this stuff out, because you don't want any of that products in your water, which the salt can't probably remove. Mineral water, I'm going fast on this because I got so much to cover on this subject and I don't want to exceed 30 minutes. Mineral water, yeah, I wrote it in there because I know a lot of people who drink it. It has 4 times as much calcium and magnesium as a regular tap water. Do we really need that much magnesium and calcium in our water? Let's say you drink perfect clear water without any calcium, magnesium. It's perfect water from reverse osmosis, let's say, which has it's pure water. You don't have any of that. Are you taking something away that you should have in your nutrition? If you eat proper one day and you have the proper amount of magnesium and calcium in your food that you're supposed to take, you turn around and everything, you take a look at soup, cereals, everything like that, they all have calcium inside. They might be missing magnesium, but there is a level of calcium per level of magnesium that you're supposed to take. If you take too much calcium, not enough magnesium, it's like eating the side of the sidewalk. Your magnesium doesn't get dissolved, it doesn't get absorbed in your body, and so on and so forth. That's another video for another day, which I'll cover in part of the magnesium and calcium. But that said, do we really need it if we eat proper and we have the proper nutrition? No, we don't. In the water, it's just an added benefit. And it comes 4 times the amount. I mean, it's up to you. It's just like it's your kidneys who's going to be working overtime, trying to remove this. Distilled water. Distilled water. The first time I ever heard that in the beginning, looking at this, 6.5 pH is just on the level which is drinkable water, which is good. I go, okay, what's distilled water? It's something that you put in a pan, you heat up, you boil, and the vapor that comes out of it, you recuperate it, and you use it as pure water. I go, okay, I don't believe that. What do you don't believe? I don't believe that it's pure, even though it gets, distilled and, all the vapor, you collect the vapor. I go, many medication or minerals or everything that there's a lot of minerals and things like that I am aware of that you could steam up and use as vapor that will become a vapor state and you could recuperate. Doesn't that just flow along with it? Here, hell, today we're recuperating in some parts of North America. We had some rain, which we seen in tip of our hand, microplastics which are floating around. Okay, this might be in a closed thing, but you're still taking that water that comes from somewhere that might have microplastic, but still, my idea is, hey, okay, this is great for lab because it's got a certain pH, it's got 0 ppm or something I'll talk about way later. That's after my video 6. I'll talk about parts per million in something and how much that, to me, and those things makes no sense. But bear with me. Looking at this, one manufacturer was smart enough to say, hey, you know what? We've noticed that there is, contamination in our water. It's not as pure as we thought. So what we do is once we start the distillation process, we vapor it. We're going to introduce carbon filters, which we could recuperate that, vapor and, filter it at the same time. Okay, but why not just filter the water properly? Get yourself a very good filtration system and just filter it and you're back to the same point. You don't have to steam up your water. They noticed that they had gasoline, solvents, volatile organics, and even mercury that had vaporized along with the water. Interesting. So you see, there's like so many medications on the market. How much of them do vaporize? I'll leave it at that. You guys, if you're using distilled water, I say usually I let you do your own math, but in this case, I'd say I wouldn't use it. Deionized water. Deionized water may lead to risk of mineral toxicity. Why? Because deionized water, the way it's made through cations and ions, which is like hydrogen positive and negative, combined with OH, using resins, producing water with it. But what happens? It becomes a reactive molecule, okay? Which once it's delivered to you in a bottle with a pH of 7, you're great, you're happy, you open it. The minute you open it, it reacts with the CO2 that we breathe out. And what it does, it changes the water to HCO3, and that brings down the pH right back down to 5.6. So that's pretty acid, which in fact it's not much of a drinkable water. So this is not something that you want to drink. It doesn't remove sugar, uncharted organic particles, bacteria, viruses. It's good for certain lab tests, and I'd say you keep it as that. But yeah, they sell it on the market. It's there. Spring water. Often people like to like this type of water, and a lot of people like it because it's you drink it right straight out of it contains natural minerals and everything along with it. Water, the spring, opposite to water, right? Who prefers spring water? And it contains, oh yeah, okay, so yeah, it's not water from the river or rainwater. It's spring. Doesn't matter what they call it. It's still out in nature, and once it comes out of nature, you have to have some kind of process to clean it up, remove the bacteria and viruses from it, and the excess minerals that may be in it. If you keep these natural minerals inside, you may be drinking too much manganese or something else that is not good for you, or it's one bottle may contain a lot more, and another bottle may contain a lot less of that mineral, because depending on what day of you picked it up. Is it really good just to take your bottle and just in spring water? I don't know. It's just like it doesn't jive for me. Doesn't because it jives for me that it's not good, but I just say anything that comes out of nature should be processed to make sure that it's proper for our body and it's not dangerous. So if you just take all the natural minerals that are in there, it doesn't mean it's good. So, like I said, my parents had a well for 30 years, and their water was good for 5 years, and then it was bad for the other 25 years, and they had to clear it up. So it's not always the same. Structured water. Oops. Get up there a bit. Sorry about that. Spring water. Why am I having so much trouble? Sorry about that. Anyway, structured water, vortexing water. Right now, what they're telling me is water out of my bottle, okay, is malformed, corrupted water molecules, okay? It's during chaos right now, all the molecules in my water bottle. Malformation is toxic, so basically my water is toxic. What they're doing is they want to raise the electromagnetic frequency of that water by simply, let's make sure this is closed because I don't want this flying all over the place. They create a vortex, okay, in the water. And this vortex will create a structure in the water and will form an electrical field. Anyways, we all have electrical fields, around us, like electromagnetic fields around us, even water does. But the second you stop, that's it. It goes right back down. There's no more. So you can be spinning it and drinking it at the same time. When it falls in your stomach, what do you think? It's all gone. There's nothing there. This is far by worse the funniest one I've read so far. Yeah, destruction water. Up to you to decide if you want to pay very expensive water like this and have structured water, but it just doesn't make sense. The second you stop turning it, that vortex stops, the electromagnetic field just stops at the millisecond. Deuterium water. Yeah, deuterium water. I won't let you read through all this, but I put it there still since you guys would like to pause and read it later or whatever. But basically, all it says, remember that water molecule again? Water molecule. Well, the two hydrogens, the deuterium depleted water is really a heavy hydrogen isotope. It's known as the evil hydrogen. It's a lot larger and a lot heavier, okay, than the other hydrogen. And you got 150 of those per million other water molecules when you're near the ocean. I never know somebody near the ocean like die quicker than us because of deuterium water. So basically, what they're telling you is the deuterium water with this heavy hydrogen goes into your cells. Then in the nanomotors of your mitochondria, remember the mitochondria, those little batteries that I showed in video 2? And they kind of destroy it, slowing down your energy creation. ATP is what it's called, ATP creation. And eventually tears down and destroys your cells and kills it. Now, it seems like kids or very babies have a lot of deuterium in their bodies, which help them tear down the old cells so they could rebuild new ones, so they could grow faster. We lose that ability as we grow older. But to the point of being really, really nasty to your body, I just think it's all part of another gimmick to sell you a small little bottle for $100. You know, deuterium water. And how are you gonna know if you remove the deuterium water? You just didn't take some tap water. How are you gonna, analyze this? It takes $1 million tool to analyze the hydrogen and view that. Oh, that hydrogen is a little bit bigger than the other one. It's like no. Anyways, this is not something I would take. Maple water. Oh, simple. Taken from the tree sap, filtered a bit, and bottled straight away. Go straight to the bottle with 15 calories, 3 to 5 grams, which is like a tablespoon and a little bit more per bottle. Set to regulate your blood, aids in calcium absorption because of the magnesium. Since this option is high in sugar and doesn't add any extra benefit, we say, is it a good swap for regular water? That's up to you if you want to add some taste. Again, they sell that and it's pretty pricey. Aloe vera water. Okay, that I put it in there because, yeah, I had a few people who talked about that and said, yeah, it's good. It's higher in alkaline, which we'll talk in part 5 of the videos. It's very dense plant. It's wonderful for hydration, keeps the water inside your body. But at the same time, it stimulates you going to take a bio break number 2. So you have to be careful in the amount of water that you may want to drink from this. And something very good, it helps your good bacteria in regulation in your gut, which, hey, that's great. But unfortunately, manufacturers and companies come and add what you call cane sugar, and cane sugar does the exact opposite. It's bad for your good bacteria in your gut. So you got something helping it and something destroying it, which is bad. Which one is higher? And is it the sugar that they put more in that will destroy more than what this is giving? Impossible to know. Birch water. Yeah, a lot of people swear by this, and it's true that it's seen as almost a medicinal, water. Sourced directly from the sap of the birch tree, which contain you could consume it fresh or fermented. High nutritional values, carries nutrition like vitamin C, calcium, potassium, all these good things which you could get from your food anyways. But hey, it's high in nutrition, which is good. Hailing from some countries, this water has been used for remedies, in curing a lot of stuff, but there's nothing proven on that. Detoxifying and cleansing, which we already talked about that. You have plenty of systems in place inside your bodies, your organs do that, and just breathing out does a cleansing automatically in your body. And you know what? There's no science behind it. No science at all. It's still a shaky and nothing is proven yet. But hey, all the power to you if you think this is still good. Go ahead. It's just right now, till there's nothing in universities proven that they've run tests on this and it's proven in what I read. I can't support it. It's just like another type of water. Ozone water. Hold on. There you go. Ozone water. Well, believe it or not, your municipality probably is already adding ozone to your water as a disinfecting. But they get rid of it, as much as possible before it's sent off to you. Um, it's, it has side effects which are dangerous. That's why, city will say, okay, so much of that they could drink, which is not dangerous. I always like that. It's just like whatever the case is, like okay, 0.1%, it's just okay for you to drink for 40 years, and it's great. Like fluoride, or that's another thing that one day I'll go through that and explain that from beginning to end on fluoride. But right now for ozone and all the rest, and not what's in the water, yeah, it's okay for you to drink, but you know what? A cumulative effect, it could damage your organs if you intake also in a high dose. I always got a link to medical things if you want to read it below, but I'll put that in the links below as on my YouTube in the description if anybody wants to do that extra reading. So it's not widely used. That's one of the reasons why they stand away, but it's used. In some bottles, they have used it to get rid and tell you that hey, we used ozone and we disinfected that there's nothing left. Hell, just pass it to a UVC, for a few minutes. There's nothing going to be left alive in there. It's going to be just great. It's going to do the same thing, and you won't have added anything in your water. Raw water. I don't know about you, but I go, okay, what's that? Drink straight from the source in nature. Yeah, I'll just stick my face right into a river and just drink straight from there. What about the bacteria and viruses? Another trend, iceberg water. If you've seen that in Europe, people are running after iceberg, breaking them up, bottling the water right away, and reselling it for almost 10 to 11 pounds per little bottle. I don't know about you, but yeah, there's maybe less CO2 in that water and all that, and pollution. But how about the million-year-old virus that's waiting for you? What's that going to do to us in the long run? I can't wait to hear more about this. But yeah, see where this is going. Like I said before, it looks like companies are just trying to reinvent each other. Because all this thing about pops and sugars in it is just going away more and more, and just trying to find something else to sell you. Oxygen water, it's not bad. That one made me laugh, but I kind of like it, to tell you the truth. They just put oxygen gas in the bottle. It's like hydrogen. Once you open the bottle, most of it goes away or it dissipates. But what it does for the rest that you're able to drink will go through your stomach, then your gut, and be reabsorbed through your bloodstream. But you know what? We got something like 1,000. I wrote 1,000, but it's like probably 1,000,000 times more effective. It's your lungs. We breathe in oxygen, and it goes straight to your bloodstreams perfectly. Um, what's fun about oxygen water is it looks like you're drinking nothing. You should try it one day. It's like you could guzzle down the bottle in no time, but it looks like you drank nothing. If you open it right away, you're drinking it in one shot. It's yeah. I kind of liked it, but it's not something I buy. I just had it a few times. Memory water. I can't remember what it was. Just kidding. Just like 100 different more types of water, which we won't get in today. And even water for women. How about me? I'm a man. Hey, what does she have special that I don't? And you have a water for her. Oh boy. Yeah, I explained that already. Why is this all started? Why was all this thing, all these waters, these different waters are coming out almost every day. There's a different type. Just manufacturers trying to reinvent themselves. Maybe one or two out there that are good, but apart from hydrogen water, who's got potential, I haven't really seen any. So, again, you found this interesting, informative. Please share with your friends. Hit the routine. Hit that like, subscribe, and that little bell. If you want to see the next upcoming videos, which I'll do on water bottles, pH levels, and all type of filters moving forward. Hope you found this interesting. Have you all a good day.